Hello everybody, and welcome. I'm Count Christo. This is Victoria 3, and I'm going to do, I don't know how many, but a couple of these videos where basically I'm going to look at the starting situation of a nation, set myself some goals, play the campaign off camera, come back, tell you how I did. That's my plan. I'm going to do a couple of those. I think they could be fun. It'll motivate me to try and stick to my goals, which will be enjoyable. Also, I think it might be fun from your perspective because if you want to, you can, use it as inspiration for a campaign to do in Victoria 3, which you should do if you haven't for quite a while, because the game's got quite a bit better. I think it's worth your time now in a way that, frankly, it didn't used to be. And I'm so zoomed in because I realized on my previous campaign as Japan and the one before that as Russia, never once did I zoom in and look at a city. Look at this thing. It's pretty. Little factories and railways coming and going. This train going straight through these buildings. It's pretty. Like, a lot of work went into something that will be viewed from this distance virtually all the time. You got to give it credit at some degree. So, why Belgium and what are the objectives? Last time we played as Japan. Japan starts off with a lot of people and basically no nearby threats. No one's going to come and try and conquer Japan. But they have bad tech and an illiberal government. On the other hand, we have Belgium. Belgium starts with not very many people, almost 10 times less than Japan. And as you can see, we only have 500,000 peasants exist in Belgium for us to easily press into the factories and the mines. So that will be challenging. It also has belligerent neighbors, 4 of them to be exact, who could potentially be a problem. Belgium is at the start of the game only, I think, less than a decade free from the Netherlands. So our rival to the north certainly doesn't think very highly of us. They are an antagonistic rival. And I imagine they have claims, but I'm not sure. So, this will be more challenging on that perspective. But what we do have is a liberal government. Oh my god, I didn't realize just how liberal. Look at this. We got already a righteous government with industrialist intelligentsia. And we have an intelligentsia king. Ooh, a petit bourgeoisie prince. And there's no, plot to kill or send to the Varangian Guard in this game. That could be a problem. How old are you? 45. So he's not got a hugely long time left. Might have to try and, abolish the monarchy before his son takes power. Anyway, but we have, we have wealth voting already. And we have racial segregation rather than national supremacy. So that's a bit better at least. Freedom of conscience, bureaucrats, religious schools already in there, homesteading, interventionism, lots of stuff in a much better place than it was to start as Japan. And we have a whole lot more tech. We start with railways, one of the very few people that do. We start with percussion caps so we can get, munitions factories. Oh, we've got egalitarianism already even. And central archives. We've got loads of tech. Nice. My last 2 games as Russia and then Japan makes me feel like we're on top of the world. Cool. So, we have a good position from that, but, as I say, not many people. 4 million. The Netherlands are obviously most immediate comparator. Only, wait, they have less people than us? Really? That doesn't seem right. But apparently that is the case. Okay, we're more populous than the Netherlands. I didn't know that. But the Netherlands, of course, has the Dutch East Indies over here, who may be a problem. Why is it stuck on the population map mode? How do I turn that off? Ah, countries at peace. There we go. I got it unstuck. Anyway, so we have a good opportunity to try and make something of ourselves. And I picked Belgium because, it's pretty small, pretty weak start. I mean, they're strong relative to some starts for sure. A lot stronger than, Oldenburg or something. But weak versus many, which means it'll be more impressive if we manage to do something with it. They also have this state, which has coal, iron, sulfur, lead, and logging camps, which is pretty dope, and a lot. of the first two as well. So I think our main problem is going to be finding enough people to get in here to work a staggering number of factories. So we're probably going to have loads of factories here, and then all our government stuff will happen in the capitals. So we'll have our government administration, our universities and things operating out of Brussels, and any industries that don't rely on goods that we can produce in this place, like stuff that uses dyes and stuff that uses fabric and things like that. We'll put them in Brussels. Meanwhile, Wallonia? I've always heard it said as Wallonia, but wouldn't the W, like in Württemberg? But no, sorry, because Wallonia is French, not German, right? And the north half speaks Dutch, and this bit speaks French, and this bit speaks German, but that's after they take this bit after the First World War. Anyway, I think that's right. But yeah, so it's cool that we're going to have two states. It's going to mean it's much easier for me to keep track of production methods and things. By the end of the Japan game, I really felt like there was no way I was going to spend the time to keep track of what the most optimum production method in each state would be and things like that. So it's going to be fun. Of course, we would love to also have these coal mines here, and these logging camps here, and these whaling stations up here. So hopefully we'll eventually find our way to conquering the north. Is there an ability to form some kind of thing if we take over the north? There probably is. But yeah, we may see what we can do about taking over the Netherlands. That would be fun. So, goals. Yes. Number 1, take over the Netherlands. Unite the Low Countries. Which should include Luxembourg, I guess, which might make Germany a problem, but we'll see. Unite the Low Countries. Number 2, in the Japan game, we didn't make a play for Africa. In this one, which left us with a serious shortage of rubber. So, a significant play for Africa focused on attempting to acquire 2 things. 1, rubber. 2, pops. Because I also really want to get, well, first off, total separation, but also multiculturalism passed. So multiculturalism is hard to pass, much harder than it was when I last played, where it was pretty trivial. And so you just always did it, which did make it a bit boring. But yeah, I want multiculturalism, I want total separation, and I want immigration. I want to make the Low Countries unbelievably populous. And I want to do that by trying to get people from all over the world to see that this is the place to be. Come to the Low Countries. And one way we will do that is by colonizing places in Africa, which means that they'll be able to do internal migration and move into our market. So loads of people here. African colonization focused on acquiring rubber, and then also some imperialism focused on acquiring oil. Because the problems that I had in my... Also, do we have sulfur? We have 26 sulfur here. It's not, it's not a huge amount. But yeah, so probably some sulfur-based imperialism and oil-based imperialism. We would love to go out and get some oil. Because in the Japan run, we had to basically not run oil-based techs, which really would have seen our economy drop off over the next kind of 20 years if we hadn't been able to get to it. And if we'd been able to get oil earlier, we'd have been able to pop off way more dramatically. So yeah, some oil-based imperialism. Najd, I think is how you say it. Najd is a potential candidate for that. There was 60 oil in this province by the end of our last run, which I assume is how much there always is. I don't know if it's random. It's random when it's discovered, but no. And then, yeah, so some rubber imperialism, some people gaining imperialism, some oil imperialism, probably some sulfur imperialism, and lead. I'm not sure if I saw lead. No, we have some lead, but yeah, we will need more resources. Second objective, and this is more of a me personal objective, I want to get better at using trade and actually focusing on trade being a kind of serious part of our economic game. I want to play with the concept of like treaty ports and things like that to break into markets, like get a treaty port with Qing and then use that to be able to import a whole bunch of grain out of Qing so we can have nice cheap grain at home, things like that. Next, I was going to say third, but I think it might be fourth and I can't remember. There's one restriction I'm going to place on myself. We are not allowed to just kind of grab random provinces. Like, I bet Yorkshire, yeah, has a ton of coal in it. We're not allowed to just randomly grab Yorkshire. If we want to expand physically on the map, it has to be contiguous. So we are allowed to take, like, the French Low Countries. I mean, it's part of the Low Countries. Come on now. Off the French. We're allowed to take the North Rhine and the Ruhr and, all this lot if we were to get up here. There's some sulfur. So we're allowed to take these bits, but only contiguously with our borders. And then overseas, we are not allowed to incorporate states. That is the rule that I'm going with for this campaign. I think that'll be fun. So we don't just go over here, take Beijing. I mean, I don't know how I would do that as Belgium, but take Beijing, incorporate it, and then accept Han pops, and then just effectively we're just playing as Qing, but you only have Beijing. There's a lot of people in Beijing. So yeah, we can't incorporate other states. We might still take land out in China, but it will be explicitly to set up, the Belgian Qing company to extract resources and personnel as well. If we can invite them back here, that's still allowed. Okay, those are the objectives. I will probably fail. I have no idea. If I do fail, I will show you the failure state before I start again, and we will go from there. It's entirely possible that France just annexes us or something. These guys all being protective to start does seem useful. I wonder if we would be able to get them to support us in a play to take, just early grab Holland. One of the funny things that I found about conquering in the past game is that this manor house represents the nobles' ownership over all of these places. Not just nobles, noble aristocrats, laborers, and clergy. But these, sorry, well, actually, I'm still not quite sure how that works. But anyway, this is the additional ownership. Is it really owned by laborers? Are there 8,000 just super rich laborers out there? I don't think that's how it works. But anyway, it represents the ownership over all these things. And you can see that includes a whole bunch of things over in the Dutch East Indies. If we conquer Holland, we get all these dividends, even though we didn't conquer these coffee plantations, which is kind of funny. So we can basically steal the Netherlands' overseas property by seizing this place. And that will still be true here. These manor houses own some, and these manor houses own some. Some rice farms and tobacco plantations rather. So there's ways to steal overseas property, which is pretty fun. Of course, by steal it, it would be stolen for some aristocrats who lived in this place. But we could then tax them, and they would be contributing to our economy, not to the Netherlands economy. Cool. Those are the objectives. I will see you either at the end of the run, or if I decide to, when we make some grand accomplishment, or when we get yoinked by probably France, if I had to guess. Okay, I said I'd be back at the end of the campaign, but a quick check-in midway. It's tough being Belgian. Let me tell you that. I don't know if you know about this, but in this kind of era, all right, we're 40 years too early, but this place gets fought over a lot, huh? Look at this madness. There are guns going off across Wallonia, and I am not loving it. This could be the end of the campaign. It's looking pretty bad. France is trying to conquer a bunch of our land. Wallonia represents a truly staggering portion. 42% of our GDP is right here, and this is what it currently looks like. The guns are firing. The barricades are set up alongside the factories. Britain is helping, and they've got more people en route, but we'll see. This may be the end. Oh, it's slightly turning around. We had up to 91% enemy occupation in Wallonia, whichever it is, and it's turning around. French Low Countries, Calais, you might be mine. A little bit of Belgian occupation growing. Hundreds of thousands of men pouring into these. Look at the battle that we just won. This was a really decisive one. 141,000 French troops came in against 92 of ours, and we just held the line. It was back and forth. It was so close. I am desperately recruiting a whole bunch of brave Somali warriors to come and join us. We'll see how it goes. Almost all of my army is being recruited out of either Yemen or Somalia, and they're doing good work so far. Oh, great victory. Great victory. Oh my goodness, that took some doing. 500,000 dead and basically 1 million wounded. 13 million spent, but here it is. The peace deal proposed. They are, interestingly, UK rather, is giving up British Senegal to the French, which is what the French declared this war over. But the British are getting Dynam, and they're humiliating the French. They're conquering Congo, which, by the way, the French conquered from us in an earlier war, which also saw a lot of bloody fighting in Wallonia. And they're liberating Tahiti, and we are getting the French Low Countries, which is good because I spent a lot of infamy to make this happen. Oh, baby. Look at that. The United Belgium States grows. Oh, that was... Oh, I seem extremely happy about it, and that's precisely because I am. That was hard. That took a long time. We had to change our laws to desperately mobilize more men, frantically start recruiting more. It went back and forth. We were at 91% of the way towards them occupying Wallonia. Oh my god, that was difficult. And this whole war kicked off, by the way, just when we were invading Korea. So all my men, like some of them were invading Korea and a whole bunch of them were stationed out of Hong Kong. It was a bad time. It was a long way to go and trek. Anyway, oh baby, let's go. Welcome to the United Belgium States, French Low Countries. Look at that. We just stole, essentially, ownership of a whole bunch of buildings across France. All mine. Glorious. Glorious. And some coal mines. Yeah, not a huge amount of useful... Actually, 100 coal is pretty friggin' good, but not a massive amount of good resources here, but 2.2 million people. Not just people, but people who, fortunately, I do not discriminate against because I haven't been able to go multiculturalism yet. That's very good. Other good thing, this is going to make migration unbelievably stronger, I think. It's still not that good, actually, but... because this is not... it's not an integral state yet. We need to incorporate it. But it only takes 2 years because it's a homeland of ours. Oh, baby. We're Flemish, right? Pretty sure we're Flemish. But yeah, it's a homeland, so we can incorporate it really quickly, and once we can, we'll be able to get mass migrations. If you're not familiar, mass migrations are like, normally there's migrations within markets or within people with very specific other situations. Mass migrations are where it happens outside of that. And right now, Great Britain has been getting all the mass migrations, which is outrageous because we have higher migration attraction in our provinces than they do. But you get a penalty when you have less than 4 states eligible for mass migrations. So getting this will help and will reduce the penalty by a flat 20%. So it goes from minus 40% to minus 20%, which is really good. And then also we're going to integrate the Netherlands because the Netherlands, by the by, are our subjects. They are a dominion right now. And when our truce ends with them in 3 years, I'm going to go to war with them again, which usually involves having to fight Russia, but we've been managing it so far. And then we will lower their autonomy once more. And then after that, we'll do an integration war and we'll integrate the Netherlands, which will be good because we need their population. What do they got? 4 million people. Whereas right now in our incorporated population is only 8 million. So that's a huge increase. But yeah, we're mostly just relying on migration. As you can tell, we've got a lot of equatorial Bantu who are, they are discriminated against, unfortunately, but we'll work on that. A bunch of Portuguese, and down here, what have we got? Yeah, 180,000 Danish, 170,000 Norwegian, some Afro-Antillean, who are not discriminated against because they are Francophone, just like us, which is excellent. Oh, that's so good, managing to get the French Low Countries. Oh, I am delighted. Bit of a check-in on the rest of the state of the campaign, since you're here. Our colonization efforts in Africa have been going pretty well. We have colonized everywhere that doesn't have extreme malaria. So I am now attempting to colonize Zambia, even though it does have really bad malaria. But yeah, just focusing on that right now, because I think that's the best kind of rubber potential we have. We've been doing very well out of gold mining down here in the south. Meanwhile, we have been spreading the tendrils of the joint front. We have some possessions over here when we protectorated the Netherlands, it released the Dutch East Indies, and they split into Java and Sumatra, which is just not called Sumatra, is it? It's called Siak, the one that split out here. But then we came and protectorated them. We're trying to be friendly with Java. We're doing some trade and things with them. I tried to get them our power block, but they won't join because they have a defensive pact with Britain. So Britain's probably going to get Java, unfortunately. But we got, sorry, is this Sumatra and this Java? I always get them mixed up. We also recently got, this state, Gwonbuk in Korea, which is awesome because it has lead and coal and iron and sulfur. So I'm going to be exporting a lot of glorious resources from there and plenty of people to work those mines, baby. So we're going to be building loads of mines there and bringing all the resources back to fuel the fires of Low Countries industry. Also, a series of wars to take control of the Horn of Africa, which I did because there's some rubber around here and it gives me access to this kind of region of Africa. But I didn't realize there's also tons of people and they're relatively well educated as well, which is nice. Where do I see that? Is that not a stat I can see here? No, anyway, they're relatively well educated, which is useful because, as you can see, I'm turning all of them into officers and servicemen. And then similar story up here in Yemen. I wonder if we look here, what are the actual proportions? Yeah, look at this: 100,000 servicemen and 3,500 officers currently reporting out of Somaliland. And then here, only 32,000 servicemen out of Yemen. We also grabbed Bahrain, which is going to be good for our oil. We had lots of, and Oman is also a protectorate, also good for oil, especially because we've got this spit over here as well. I think there's all around here. Certainly is these days. Lots of good back and forth over who's going to get Najd. It looked like it was going to be us for a while. Russia kept protecting them. That made it difficult. But then we managed to get in there. But unfortunately, ended up going to Britain. So Britain got Najd. But, oh well. What's it called? The big oil field just here? I forget. But yeah, none of that for us. We also have, South Cameroon under our control. And more recently, Venezuela is our protectorate, which is good. So more oil and I think rubber. Is there rubber over here? Yeah, there is. Nice. Not much right now. I don't know if that's going to expand as the game goes on. But that gives us, a little bit of a foothold in South America. Yeah, game's going well. I really thought it was going to be over. I thought that was going to be it. We're going to lose Wallonia. I mean, look at Wallonia. We cannot afford to lose this. It's a big freaking deal. I mean, look at all of this coal we're pulling out of here and then bamming it into a whole bunch of glass and steel so that we can crank out our construction sectors. Oh, that's right. I can make them even bigger now because we just got steel mining. Anyway, that's the situation. I will check in either next time France gets real ornery and threatens to end my campaign, or when we have some grand achievements to show. Okay, and thus ends the tale of Belgium. It's a cautionary tale. We did beat back France many times. We had massive wars to 4 massive wars to integrate the Netherlands, and then we went communist. It completely crashed our economy. GG. So I may reload a save. It's relatively late in the evening, so not today, but I may reload a save and try and salvage it. Probably by just not doing cooperative ownership. I mean, it would be doable, but right now, even with paused construction expenses, I'm just spending staggering amounts, and I've rolled back my subsidies were 200k before, and I was in the green and growing and no problem. And then it didn't go so well when we suddenly went Council Republic and co-op ownership. I was trying to do it for ages too. We finally managed to get the armed forces to become communists. They were communists for a long time, trying to pass it on like 10%, while the trade unionists were opposing it, which was funny. But I'm sure there would be ways to salvage this. I mean, I could even just go into default and then try and resume from there. But I don't really feel like it. So instead, let me tell you about the wonderful tale of Belgium a little bit more. So yes, we had in England is this awful colour, but the power block mechanics we play with quite a lot. This game we had as you can see, our joint front is spreading its tendrils to quite a few independent nations out around the world, Central and South America. Oh, there's an uprising in Venezuela. I didn't even notice. We recently stole French Senegal, which was like this whole area. We forced France to release Algeria and Niger earlier on. We fought quite a few wars to try and secure our place in the sun down here. We got a pretty huge chunk. But the thing that was by far the most fun was definitely getting stupid levels of migration. We have 37.6 million incorporated population. They all exist in these states. These are our only incorporated states. So for context, more people live here than live in all of this bit of Africa. And here, and here, and here. And yeah, we took some huge oil rig areas. I think I haven't actually built them up much. Oh yeah, Basra is the pretty big one, putting out 1,600 oil there, and 1,200 oil there, and there's more around the place. Yeah, it went pretty well. Let me grab the screenshots I took. Yeah, and then let me share these. So first off, just check out. So these wars against the Netherlands. I was quite pleased with myself for managing to win this war. 1,151 divisions on the enemy side, up to 722 just from me as good old Belgium. We were fighting the Netherlands and Russia and Egypt and all these other people. We won that one. You can see we had some pretty freaking bloody battles at various points. 191,000 people defending here. Attacking here. 170,000 attacking here. There was some big fights to secure the Netherlands. Then we had this war, which was funny, which was just the punishment for France almost ending our campaign earlier. And look at the manpower on this division. Oh my god. There were some pretty brutal ones, but yeah, it was us and England and Germany going against France and Spain. They got a little obliterated, which is when Niger, Brittany, Algeria came out. I swayed Britain in with the Liberate Algeria, and I swayed Germany in with the Liberate Brittany, which let me, add those extra demands. Unfortunately, we didn't get Senegal independent in this one. We originally just wanted to get them independent, but they capitulated despite the fact that there were no French troops in all of Africa because we had kicked them all out. And because Senegal declared independence, we lost occupation of all of the French land in Africa. And Senegal switched to the other side and came in against us, which was annoying, but oh well. But yeah, this was one of the highlights. We had a lot of mass migrations. At one point, we were getting 32,000 people per week into the French Low Countries, which is, if I may say so, a little absurd. I don't know what it is at the moment, but we've been having mass migration after mass migration after mass migration after mass migration, basically because the migration attraction in our provinces is super high. 107 here, 127 here. This one has an ongoing mass migration. 105, 123, 127. It was a lot. There's a lot of available employment in these provinces. And we were, most of the game, I would say, we had a mass migration in all but one of our eligible states for the last maybe 50 years or something. And even when we don't have a mass migration, all right, this one actually doesn't have. Where are they going? Oh, they're just going to Gallery right now, yeah. Even when we don't have a mass migration, oh, look at that, it's cratering. It's funny. I guess it's going to kick in the next month. Why is it so low here? It's interesting. Oh, I have massive unemployment in Flanders, apparently. Oh, I don't worry why I'm cratering so much money. It'll be because of the damn minimum wage thing. Anyway, I've decided that I think it's fun to just end on this like economic ruin. Oh, and as soon as I unpause, we're back in the green again. But anyway, 727,000 unemployed people in Flanders. How did that happen? I just disbanded the army. Maybe that's why. I mean, I just like demobilized the army. Maybe they. No, anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, we were getting some pretty staggering amounts of immigration for a lot of the game, which was fun. We had our good tooling workshops. Oh yes, the massive motor industry was going well. I'd be switching that onto automobiles soon. yeah, well, relatively big arms industry to maintain everything. Worked pretty well. Almost 1,000 urban centers. Jesus. But yeah, we were populous. Let me put the population that we have here in context. Flanders has that's actually, these numbers have dropped. This was more like 13 million, but yeah, so 16 million between these two provinces. Put that in context, the home countries is half that right now, and that's approaching like Shaanxi and Beijing levels of population. I wonder, we never did get multiculturalism, but we can see, yeah, part of it was just pop growth. You know, we had a lot of Wallonian pop growth, and we will have assimilated others in. But yeah, look at this: 400,000 English, 400,000 Bantu, 300,000 Swedish, 270,000 Scottish, 200,000 North Italian, 160,000 Finnish. We took them all, added them here, and they were very, very loyal. It worked pretty well. It worked pretty well. Maybe I will unpause and try and fix things. But as for the video, I'm going to call it here as a cautionary tale against haphazardly collectivizing your economy. Anyway, what else? What are the big events? We had some really good wars. Oh yeah, so Egypt cut the Ottomans off from Iraq. So we just came in and yoinked Iraq, even though the Ottomans had when we had an army of 30, because the Ottomans couldn't do anything about it. Oh, and our fleet spanked both the British and the French high seas fleet with massively inferior numbers repeatedly, which was very satisfying. Oh yeah, and the foreign investment one's pretty good if you want to be swaying people in. Problem with the trade block, I'm never going to use the trade league again. It's cool for immigration because of the customs union thing. Although I'm not sure if this does anything if you're a trade block. I got it anyway, but surely because you're a customs union already, you'd be able to migrate, so you don't need this. But anyway, but the problem with being a trade block is that people leave. So I was going around improving relations, bankrolling, and getting people to join, and then they would just leave. But, oh well. It did work well with the freedom of movement, the migration quota, and the mass migration attraction. Big part of why we got massive numbers, but yeah, I feel like doing it as a sovereign empire is just better. Problem was, by the time I could form a power block, we weren't a monarchy anymore. And you can stay a sovereign empire if you were already one when you become a republic, as Britain has done. But you can't do it if you are already not a monarchy, unfortunately. But yeah, game went pretty well. I'm pretty happy with being second rank great power. I mean, we're only behind Great Britain, right? Which is only because they have a whole bunch of prestige from nonsense, I have to imagine. Yeah, huge navy power projection, despite the fact that I obliterated them at sea many, many times. Yeah, we have slightly less population than them, but look at that standard of living. Glorious. We've had a very steadily increasing standard of living for quite some time. Anyway, I hope that was fun. I'll just, recap and highlight of the campaign. I was thinking about playing the US. I think the US, because this was obviously this was a really challenging campaign. Yeah, we fought existential wars, like maybe 9 times or something, where we had, hundreds of divisions on the border trying to end our existence. So I think I might play a game as the US and just see how crazy you can get with immigration. Because obviously with Belgium, the advantage you have as Belgium for immigration is you can easily make all your states really, really good looking from an immigration perspective. But I think I'm going to do a US run. And I think I'm going to limit myself to I am only allowed to conquer any land in America and aim to get all of America in my power block, and just not concern aim to not concern myself at all with anything in the anything outside of America. Maybe I'll allow myself Australia, New World stuff. But I think that'll be fun, just to limit myself to entirely the Americas, just see what we can do in terms of getting as many people as possible to leave everywhere that isn't America. But yeah, cool. Well, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll do that next. The other game I wanted to do was a British Republic Can I Conquer the World run. I think that would be kind of fun, just seeing how quickly you can go to over 100 infamy and actually make it work. But I'm also kind of feeling like playing Mayo and Taxes, because this whole economic simulator thing would be more satisfying if the game wasn't so short. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching.